Welcome to Better Kansas City. Today we're decoding your dog's behavior so you don't miss important cues. And we're showing you a migraine treatment that sounds really odd, but many people swear by it. And we're making DIY skin products. But first, your hormones and a woman who is shattering what she calls misconceptions, myths, and falsehoods about them. Joining us now is author, researcher, and professor Dr. Marti Haselton to talk about her groundbreaking new book, which we have right here. It's titled Hormonal: The Hidden Intelligence of Hormones. Dr. Haselton, thanks for being here.
I am delighted to be here.
One of the things that you address in the book, among so many important topics, is that when a woman does something that people don't understand or don't have an answer for, often it's blamed on hormones. But guys have hormones too, and we don't do that to men.
Right. So, you know, would we ever use the word hormonal to describe a man? Or if we did, would it keep him out of the White House? Probably not.
It's interesting.
But, you know, you have to ask yourself, who put the red button there in the first place?
And who did?
It wasn't a woman.
It was a man. People often say women make poor decisions when they're hormonal. You say the opposite, that women can make very wise, informed, important choices when they're at their most hormonal.
Yeah.
Which is opposite of what my grandma always told me: don't make a big decision when you have PMS.
Well, okay.
That came from my grandma. So what do you say? Because that's a real old myth.
You know, so there are lots of ways to be hormonal. So there's the hormone cycle within an individual cycle, and PMS is typically how we think about hormones and being hormonal. But what's really interesting is what happens in the middle of the cycle when, in other species, we call this estrus, sexuality gets turned on. And we potentially shop around for the best mates and under those circumstances. But then there are other hormone cycles. So when we get pregnant, people refer to this as pregnancy fog, you know, oh, I'm not thinking. But no, I don't think that that's the case.
What do you think is happening when people talk about that?
I think that we are sort of reallocating our psychological resources. We are rearranging our priorities in order to care for this new helpless being that is going to come into our lives.
To protect
baby. Them, you know, to eschew people who are not perhaps the best social partners in our lives, and to shore up our relationships with our mates.
So that would go to what you were saying would be your hormones can protect you.
Yes, absolutely.
You've spent your life's work. You're the leading researcher in how ovulation cycles influence women's decisions. You've also gotten pushback from people who say that this might do more harm than good.
Right.
What is it that they're pushing back against, and how do you respond to it?
Well, I think there's a sexual double standard. I think that, you know, as I said, saying that a woman is hormonal is derogatory, whereas saying that men are affected by hormones is not necessarily so. And I think this has a deep history dating back to the 70s, but we see it still today. You know, when